From the sun-drenched plains to the mist-wreathed mountains, America harbors secrets. Beneath its bustling cities and sleepy towns lie whispers of the past, echoes of lives lived and lost, lingering in the shadows. Join us, dear viewers, as we dare to venture into the heart of America's most haunted locations. Places where the veil between our world and the next wears thin, where the air crackles with the unexplainable. We'll encounter chilling tales of restless spirits, unexplained phenomena, and the lingering energy of tragedy. So steady your nerves, dim the lights, and prepare to be, well, let's just say entertained. Remember, every creak and groan, every flicker of light might just be a friendly hello from the other side, or, something a bit more sinister. On with the chills. Nestled high in the majestic Rocky Mountains of Colorado, the Stanley Hotel stands as a monument to grandeur and ghostly encounters. Built in 1909, this sprawling resort boasts breathtaking views, luxurious amenities, and, it seems, a rather active spectral clientele. Inspired by the grand European hotels of the era, the Stanley has played host to countless souls living and perhaps not so living. It's said that the hotel's original owner, F.O. Stanley, still enjoys overseeing his beloved establishment even in the afterlife. Guests have reported hearing the ghostly strains of a piano in the dead of night emanating from the elegant music room. Others tell of disembodied laughter echoing down the long, lonely corridors, sending shivers down spines. But fear not, dear viewer, for the Stanley's spectral residents seem more inclined towards playful mischief than outright malevolence. Think of them as permanent guests with a rather unique sense of humor. Room 217, perhaps the most infamous chamber within the Stanley's haunted halls. It was here, in this very room, that a young Stephen King found his imagination captivated, leading to the creation of his iconic horror novel, The Shining. Legend has it that room 217 is home to the spirit of a former housekeeper, a Mrs. Wilson, who, despite meeting an untimely end, continues to tidy up after guests, albeit in a somewhat unconventional manner. Suitcases might unpack themselves, lights flicker erratically, and the occasional ghostly chill might send you scrambling for an extra blanket. All in a day's work for the spectral staff of the Stanley, it seems, but don't let the stories deter you. The Stanley Hotel offers a unique blend of history, luxury, and, yes, perhaps a ghost or two. Just be sure to pack a sense of humor along with your overnight bag. From the grandeur of the Rockies, we descend into the grim reality of Philadelphia's Eastern State Penitentiary. Once a formidable symbol of law and order, this imposing Gothic fortress now stands as a haunting reminder of a darker time in American history. Within these cold, decaying walls, thousands of inmates lived out their sentences, many in solitary confinement, their only companions the echoing silence and their own troubled thoughts. Is it any wonder, then, that Eastern State is now considered one of America's most haunted prisons? The residual energy of so much suffering, so much despair, seems to have seeped into the very stones of the place. Visitors and staff alike have reported a chilling array of paranormal activity, from disembodied whispers and footsteps echoing down the cell blocks to full-bodied apparitions manifesting in the shadows. Cell Block 12, with its towering walls and cavernous chambers, is a place of palpable dread. It is here that some of the most unsettling and unexplained phenomena have been reported. Shadowy figures darting along the periphery of vision, disembodied voices whispering from the darkness, and a pervasive sense of being watched. These are just a few of the spine-tingling experiences that await those brave enough to venture into Cell Block 12. One can only imagine the torment these poor souls endured in life, a torment that seems to have lingered long after their physical bodies have passed on. But fear not, dear viewer, for even within the forbidding walls of Eastern State Penitentiary there is a strange beauty to be found. A beauty born of history, of tragedy, and of the enduring power of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable darkness. The Queen Mary, once a luxurious ocean liner, now sits permanently docked in Long Beach, California. But don't let her stately exterior fool you. This grand old dame of the sea is rumored to be teeming with restless spirits. Like barnacles clinging to her hull, these ghostly passengers have made the Queen Mary their home. Among the ship's most notorious residents is the spirit of a sailor crushed to death by a door in the engine room. Whether you're a believer in the paranormal or simply enjoy a good scare, a night spent aboard the Queen Mary is guaranteed to be anything but ordinary. The Queen Mary boasts not one, but 2 swimming pools, both of which are said to be haunted. The first-class pool is frequented by the ghost of a young woman who drowned there in the 1930s. The second-class pool is said to be home to the spirit of a young boy who died there under mysterious circumstances. The Queen Mary is more than just a floating museum. It's a portal to the past where history and the supernatural collide. Perched atop a windswept hill in Louisville, Kentucky, stands Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a sprawling complex of decaying buildings that once housed thousands of tuberculosis patients. Known as one of the most haunted places in America, Waverly Hills attracts ghost hunters and thrill seekers from around the globe. The sanatorium became a place of suffering and death, its long, empty corridors echoing with the ghosts of its former patients. It's the reported sightings, the unexplained noises, the feeling of being watched, or worse, followed. Then there's room 502, where 2 nurses are said to have taken their own lives. But fear not, dear viewer, for we're just getting started. Nestled amongst the moss-draped oaks and fragrant magnolias of St. Francisville, Louisiana, lies the Myrtles Plantation, a stunning antebellum mansion with a history as dark as the swamps that surround it. Built in 1796, this grand old home has witnessed its fair share of tragedy and turmoil, earning its reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. The Myrtles is said to be home to at least 12 restless spirits, each with their own tale of woe. Some met their end tragically, others through more nefarious means, but all, it seems, have chosen to take up permanent residence within the plantation's elegant walls. One can't help but wonder what it must be like for the current owners, sharing their home with such an eclectic group of permanent guests. Do they offer them coffee in the mornings? Perhaps a slice of pecan pie after dinner? I imagine it's a bit like living in a never-ending house party, only the guests are invisible, prone to moaning at odd hours, and occasionally move the furniture around for a good laugh. Perhaps the most famous resident of the Myrtles Plantation is Chloe, a young slave girl who met a tragic end in the early 1800s. Legend has it that Chloe, caught eavesdropping on a private conversation, had her ear cut off as punishment. Humiliated and enraged, she plotted her revenge, baking a poisoned cake for her mistress and her children. However, her plan went awry, and only the children consumed the deadly dessert. Chloe, horrified by what she had done, confessed her crime and was hanged from a nearby oak tree. Today, her spirit is said to roam the plantation, her image often appearing in mirrors and reflective surfaces throughout the house. Now, I'm not saying that Chloe is responsible for the chipped china and misplaced spectacles often reported at the Myrtles, but I'm not saying she isn't either. After all, if I were a ghost with a penchant for mischief and a grudge against humanity, I might be tempted to engage in a little light-hearted haunting myself. But the Myrtles Plantation is more than just spooky stories and ghostly legends. It's a reminder of a dark and often brutal past, a place where the echoes of slavery and injustice still linger in the air. It's a sobering thought, to be sure, but one worth pondering as we continue our journey into the heart of America's haunted history. And now we venture to San Jose, California, where a sprawling mansion stands as a testament to one woman's eccentric fear of the afterlife. Welcome to the Winchester Mystery House, a labyrinthine structure as perplexing as it is eerie. Built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of the Winchester rifle magnate, this house is said to be haunted by the ghosts of those killed by the Winchester rifle. Sarah Winchester, convinced that she could appease these spirits through constant construction, spent 38 years adding on to the house. The result? A bizarre and fascinating architectural enigma. Staircases lead to ceilings, doors open to brick walls, and windows offer views into other rooms. One can't help but wonder, was Sarah truly haunted, or was she simply an architectural enthusiast with a penchant for the peculiar? Our journey takes us through the home's twisting corridors and up its disorienting staircases. Imagine, if you will, a world where every turn could lead to a dead end, a secret passage, or perhaps a ghostly encounter. Keep your wits about you, though, for this house is known to play tricks on the mind, and the line between reality and illusion can blur quite quickly. The Winchester Mystery House is a place where the air crackles with untold stories. Footsteps echo through the empty halls, doors slam shut without a breeze, and whispers seem to emanate from the very walls themselves. Is it the wind playing tricks? Or could it be the spirits of those who met their untimely end by a Winchester rifle? One can't help but feel a presence here, a sense of unease that settles deep within the bones. Perhaps it's the sheer strangeness of the architecture, or maybe, just maybe, it's the lingering energy of Sarah Winchester herself, forever seeking solace within the walls of her creation. But fear not, dear viewer, for we press on, delving deeper into the mysteries of this house. Every creaking floorboard, every flickering light, every sudden draft of cold air only fuels our curiosity. Join us as we attempt to unravel the secrets of the Winchester Mystery House, a place where the past and present collide in a symphony of the strange and unsettling. Our next destination takes us deep into the heart of Adams, Tennessee, to a shadowy hollow shrouded in legend and lore. Here lies the Bell Witch Cave, where fear hangs heavy in the air. This is where the legend of the Bell Witch, a malevolent entity, was born. Known for relentless torment, the Bell Witch was capable of physical and psychological attacks. The entity was said to have poisoned John Bell, leading to his demise. It's said the entity continued to haunt the cave and surrounding woods. The Bell Witch Cave gives even the most hardened skeptic pause. Visitors report feeling a strange pressure, as if an unseen entity is watching. The Bell Witch Cave remains a place of unsettling energy and undeniable mystery. And now we arrive at a home that needs little introduction, a place so infamous, so synonymous with paranormal activity that its very name sends shivers down the spine. The Amityville House. This seemingly ordinary suburban home in Amityville, New York, became the epicenter of one of America's most sensational and controversial haunting cases. In 1974, the Lutz family moved into 112 Ocean Avenue, unaware of the horrific tragedy that had unfolded within its walls just a year prior. It was here that Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family, a crime that shocked the nation and cast a long, dark shadow over the house. Just 13 months later, the Lutz family, seeking a fresh start in a new home, purchased the property at a bargain price. Little did they know they were stepping into a nightmare. Almost immediately, the family reported a series of bizarre and terrifying occurrences. Foul odors permeated the air. Green slime oozed from the walls. Swarms of flies appeared out of nowhere, and disembodied voices whispered menacingly in the dead of night. The children claimed to see demonic eyes peering at them from the darkness, and Kathy Lutz, the matriarch, felt an unseen force choking her and lifting her from her bed. George Lutz, the father, experienced a radical personality shift, becoming increasingly withdrawn, irritable, and obsessed with the home's macabre history. The family's 28-day ordeal culminated in a terrifying night of unseen forces, disembodied voices, and a feeling of pure evil that drove them from their home in terror. They fled with only the clothes on their backs, leaving behind their possessions and a chilling story that would captivate and horrify the world. The Amityville haunting remains a subject of intense debate to this day. Skeptics point to inconsistencies in the Lutz family's accounts, suggesting that they fabricated or exaggerated their experiences for financial gain. But believers argue that the sheer terror exhibited by the family, coupled with the house's gruesome history, points to a genuine haunting, a dark and malevolent force lurking beneath the surface of an idyllic suburban home. Whatever the truth may be, the Amityville House stands as a chilling reminder that even in the most ordinary of places, darkness can lurk, and the line between the living and the dead can be terrifyingly thin. And now we venture to the heartland of America, to the seemingly peaceful town of Villisca, Iowa. Here, in 1912, a family of 6 met an untimely end, their slumber eternally broken by an unknown assailant wielding an axe. The house still stands, a grim monument to that horrific night. Despite the passage of time, the Villisca Axe Murder House remains a chilling spectacle. It's as if the very walls whisper tales of that fateful night, their silence punctuated by the echoes of unseen footsteps. One can almost imagine the family gathered in the warmth of their home, unaware of the darkness lurking outside. The crime scene was horrific, the details too gruesome to recount in full. Suffice it to say, the house was transformed into a scene of unimaginable carnage. And the most unsettling aspect, the perpetrator was never caught, leaving a chilling mystery hanging over the town like a shroud. Today, the Villisca Axe Murder House stands as a macabre tourist attraction, inviting brave souls to spend the night within its walls. One can only wonder what goes through the minds of those who dare to sleep in the very rooms where such horrors transpired. Perhaps they hope to catch a glimpse of the past, to feel the presence of those lost souls. Some say the house is a magnet for paranormal activity, a place where the veil between our world and the next wears thin. Visitors report strange noises, cold spots, and even apparitions. Whether these are genuine encounters with the supernatural or simply the power of suggestion is a matter of debate. But one thing is for certain, the Villisca Axe Murder House is not for the faint of heart. It is a place where history and horror collide, where the weight of tragedy hangs heavy in the air. Even the most skeptical visitor cannot help but feel a shiver run down their spine when they step inside. So, if you find yourself in Iowa with a hankering for the unexplained, consider paying a visit to the Villisca Axe Murder House. But be warned, you may not be alone. And you might want to pack an extra pair of undergarments just in case. Our journey through America's most haunted locations culminates in Fall River, Massachusetts, home to the infamous Lizzy Borden house. This unassuming abode was the setting for one of the most notorious murder cases in American history, a tale of family drama, brutal violence, and enduring mystery. It was within these very walls in 1892 that Andrew Borden and his wife Abby were found brutally murdered. Suspicion immediately fell upon their daughter Lizzy, a quiet and unassuming woman who, some whispered, had a strained relationship with her stepmother. The trial that followed was a media sensation, captivating the nation with its lurid details and shocking accusations. Lizzy, with her calm demeanor and claims of innocence, became an enigma, both pitied and reviled by the public. Despite a lack of physical evidence, Lizzy was ultimately acquitted of the murders, but the shadow of suspicion lingered, and the question of her guilt or innocence continues to be debated to this day. Today, the Lizzy Borden House is a bed and breakfast, offering guests the opportunity to sleep in the very rooms where the murders took place. One can only imagine the morbid curiosity that compels visitors to spend the night in such a place. Perhaps it's the thrill of the unknown, the chance to brush shoulders with history, or perhaps something more unsettling. Guests have reported a range of paranormal activity within the house, from disembodied voices and footsteps to full-bodied apparitions. Some claim to have felt a presence watching them, while others describe a feeling of overwhelming dread. The Lizzy Borden House stands as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved. It is a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, where the line between fact and fiction blurs. So, if you're ever in Fall River and fancy a night of historical intrigue and potential paranormal encounters, why not book a room at the Lizzy Borden House? Just don't blame us if you wake up to the sound of phantom footsteps or the chilling sensation of an unseen presence in your room. And so our journey through America's most haunted locations comes to an end. From the windswept shores of California to the quaint streets of New England, we've encountered tales of tragedy, mystery, and the unexplained. Whether you believe in ghosts or simply enjoy a good scare, there's no denying the power of these stories to capture our imaginations and send shivers down our spine.